Hey everyone, it's Patrick from Code That Converts, and I'm back at it with another video about how you can improve the user experience of your Shopify store so you can boost engagement and increase sales. Now, most beginner Shopify merchants focus too much on how pretty their Shopify store is, and they don't spend enough time thinking about how effective the design of their Shopify store is. And when I say how effective the design is, I'm mainly talking about two things. One, does the design of your Shopify store provide a good experience to the user? 2. Does the design of your Shopify store lead to increased engagement, increased sales, and conversions? Now, those are the only two things you should be worried about when thinking about how to improve the look and feel of your Shopify store. So today, I'm going to be giving you 7 tips that you can use to improve how effective the design of your Shopify store is. Tip number 1. Check out the mobile experience of your Shopify store. According to Oberlo, which is one of the biggest Shopify apps in the Shopify app ecosystem, 50% of e-commerce store users shop on their mobile phone at least once a week. Furthermore, Oberlo states that roughly 55% of the global web traffic happens on mobile devices. This essentially means that the mobile experience of your Shopify store is super important. You need to go through your Shopify store with a phone and see what the experience is like. Here are some things to look out for. Is anything broken on your site when using your phone? As in, look for broken links, look for functionality that does not work properly on mobile phones, or just anything that seems off about the mobile experience. Is your site easy to navigate on mobile? How fast do the pages of your site load when using a mobile device or your phone? This is really important for your Shopify store, so make sure that everything looks good on mobile and that it works well. Okay, tip number 2, learn to run a simple split test. It's great to be able to generate traffic for a Shopify store, but if you don't learn how to run a simple split test, you could be leaving money on the table. Many people that are new to e-commerce assume that doing big redesigns of pages are what you need to do to increase conversion rate. But most of the time, small adjustments to the copy and design of a page are enough to move the needle and boost conversions and sales. And split tests can help you see which adjustments to a page are working. Now, I'm not asking you to become a CRO specialist, but learning how to run simple split tests for your Shopify store is never a bad move. You can use an app like Trident A/B Split Test to be able to get started with running simple split tests. Look at the reviews of the app and see if that'll work well for you. If not, I recommend hopping on the App Store or going on Google and looking up Shopify apps that can help you run simple split tests. Now, don't break down and make sure that when you make changes to your Shopify store, you can test to see how well those changes are working. Moving on to tip number 3. Use your social proof as much as you can. Now, we all know this. Building a brand in e-commerce is hard. You don't need me to tell you that. But don't make it harder on yourself by not making use of social proof. All those positive things customers say about you and your brand in product reviews, social media posts, comments, and testimonials, yeah, that's social proof. And you should be using it all the time. Having good product reviews on your product pages is not enough anymore. You need to make sure whatever social proof you have, you use it on other key pages as well, such as your home page and your about page. And whenever you do use social proof in page content other than product pages, make sure you try to use it higher up on the page so that the customer encounters it sooner. Doing this should help you increase conversion rate on that page and in your site in general. Plus, social proof from your customers can help you figure out what you and your brand are doing well so you can double down on that. Tip number 4, make use of post-purchase surveys and cart abandonment surveys. Now, if I told you, in order to increase sales and conversions, you should double down on what works and ignore everything that doesn't, you'd probably look at me, roll your eyes, and be like, well, duh, but how do I do that? Well, one way to do that is by using post-purchase surveys and cart abandonment surveys. These surveys can give you great insights about how well your Shopify store is performing in terms of user experience. You get to know all the reasons why a customer decided to buy from you and all the reasons why they didn't. Having these insights can help you improve the overall user experience and look and feel of your Shopify store so that you can increase the likelihood of you getting that conversion or getting that sale from your traffic. Here's a simple app that you can use to get started with this, and if you don't like this app, please check out the Shopify App Store or hop on Google and find an app you can use to do post-purchase surveys and cart abandonment surveys. Now, don't expect every customer to respond, but even if 1 out of every 10 customers respond to the survey, that's still useful information you can use to improve your store. Tip number 5, make sure your store allows customers to use Express Checkout. One of the easiest ways to stand out amongst your competitors is to make sure your Shopify store supports multiple types of Express Checkout. The most popular forms of Express Checkout on Shopify are Shop Pay, PayPal Express Checkout, Google Pay, Amazon Pay, Apple Pay, and Meta Pay. These days, customers expect their favorite brands to allow them to use Express Checkout to improve the overall shopping experience. So look into how you can set up these forms of Express Checkout on your Shopify store to make the experience for your customers better, and of course, that's going to lead to more sales. If you check the description of this video, I left a link to a post from Shopify that shows you how you can get started with setting up Express Checkout in your Shopify store. Moving on to tip number 6, experiment with video content on your Shopify store. According to a study done by Wiseowl, 96% of video marketers say that video marketing has increased user understanding of a product or service. The study also went on to mention that around 90% of people who use video content said that it helped them increase traffic, generate new leads, which are new customers, increase sales, and increase dwell time on site pages, which means better engagement. Lastly, the study went on to say that around 89% of people that buy things online said that watching a video has convinced them to buy a product or service. Now, I don't know about you, but them numbers sound pretty good to me. Now, keep in mind, this study was not done for the e-commerce industry specifically. The study mainly surveyed data across all industries that sell products and services online. I strongly believe that these numbers definitely apply to e-commerce businesses as well. If you can create video content for your Shopify store, you should. Now, I know what you're thinking. Creating video content might be expensive. Buying a new camera costs a lot of money. What about microphones and lighting? I understand all that stuff can be super expensive, but you need to understand that in order to create video content, you don't even need all that stuff to get started. Honestly, all you need is a phone with a decent camera, a cheap ring light on Amazon, and you're good to go to start making content for your brand. So if you can do that, if you can commit to doing that and start making video content, I promise you won't be disappointed at what it can do for your brand. And if you do end up using video content, make sure that you include it on various site pages as well as in your overall marketing strategy. And finally, tip number 7, improve the user experience on the product page for a quick win. One of the best places to focus on when trying to boost conversions is your product page. The product page is one of the most important parts of an online store, so it makes sense to focus on the product page in order to see a quick win in boosting conversions. When making changes to your product page, ask yourself the following questions. Is the content on the page easy to understand? Am I using good visual hierarchy in the design of my page? As in, is it easy to see where a piece of content starts and ends? How can I communicate the value my product can bring to a potential customer? Is there any unnecessary information on the page that does not need to be there? Am I showing off reviews and testimonials well? Do I have good product images? Did the page load quickly? How is the experience of my product page on mobile? Use your answers to these questions to make improvements to your product page. And use the split testing app I mentioned earlier in the video to test how effective these changes you made are. Well, there you have it, 7 tips you can use to improve how effective the design of your Shopify store is. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please subscribe to the channel and join our email list at codethatconverts.com. That way you won't miss any of the awesome content I have planned to help you improve the user experience of your Shopify store, so you can boost engagement and get more sales. Lastly, before I close the video out, In the description of the video, I'm going to leave a bunch of resources that you can use to get started implementing some of the tips in this video. I'll leave you a link to that Trident app I mentioned, as well as an app you can use to do the post-purchase and cart abandonment surveys. I'll also leave you links to the studies that I used as data for the video, so you can see the rest of the numbers used in the study. Either way, I really hope all these tips help you to improve how effective the design of your Shopify store is, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.